In this video, we'll be talking about the insect physiology. Basically, we were supposed to talk about the arthropod physiology, but we'll be using insects as a representative member of the phylum Arthropod. This video will be based on the class Insecta, which is the largest and the most successful class in the whole of phylum Arthropoda and the whole of animal kingdom at large. Like we have all known, insects are also known as hexapoda, and they are characterized by having six walking appendages, which they use for walking, and that is what earned them the name arthropoda. And from what we have mentioned, I've already said that we can classify them into subclass Pterygota and Aterygota, where we have the winged insects and the wingless insects. In one of our previous videos as well, we have talked about the insect exoskeleton, which means we won't be mentioning or we won't be talking about the exoskeleton of insects in this particular video. If you want to check out the video on exoskeleton, you can check the videos that we have done previously. And also, we have also talked about the growth of insects, where we talk about the molting process that involve different steps like apolysis, exedesis, expansion, sclerotization, amongst others. So in this video, we won't be talking about the molting process as well. Rather, we start from one of the most important parts of the insect, which is the head. And from there, we will go to the appendages, to the wings, to the circulatory system, to the respiratory system, amongst others as well. Now, the head of an insect is composed of a series of segments, and basically it is specialized for food gathering, manipulation, sensory perception, and neural integration. These are the function of the insect head. And this head, it bears or it houses the eyes, which is the compound eyes, the ocellus, the maxilla, the mandible, the labrum, and the labium. These are the things that the head it houses, and which means it houses both the sensory perception, which is the antennae and the eyes, and also the part that is used for feeding, which is the mandible, maxilla, and the labium. Now, the anterior part of the head is called the frons, and in this anterior area below the dorsum head, between and behind the eyes, is the vertex, and the area below the compound eye on the side of the head is called the gena, and the lip-like sclerite is called the cyclipius. So these are the parts of the head that are very, very important: the frons, the vertex, the gena, and the clypeus. These are the parts of the head that are very, very important, and I've mentioned their location in this particular slide that we have here. Now let us now move to the antennae. Antennae vary greatly among insects, but follow all the basic plan. It follows all the basic plan, which is segment 1 and segment 2. And this segment 1 and segment 2 are called the scape and the pedicel respectively, and that is what you are seeing here, the scape and the pedicel. So the remaining antenna segments are jointly called flagellum. I think I made a mistake here. So this is the scape and this is the pedicel, and the remaining ones are called the flagellum, and each of these segments are called the flagellomers, which means this is one flagellomers, this is another flagellomers. All of them join together to form the flagellum. Now, what is the function of the antennae? Remember that the antennae is found in the head, and I've already mentioned that the head serves as a house for a particular organ that is used for sensory perception, and one of them is the antennae, which means the antennae function almost exclusively in sensory perception, as it detects the information as in motion, orientation, odor, sound, humidity, and variety of chemical cues. And some of the most important types of insect are shown in this particular slide, where we have the cetaceous, the clavids, the filiform, and the aristids. and we can find them in different type of insects like the odonata, the coleoptera, the leptopteran like the butterfly, and the dipteran like your housefly and your mosquitoes. We can find the aristate there. So these are the types of antennae that we have. Now from antennae, let us move to the thorax. Remember that the body of an insect is separated or segmented into three parts, which is the head, the thorax, and the abdomen. Those are the three parts at which it is separated to. And we have mentioned the head. Now to the thorax. The insect thorax is divided into three parts, which is the prothorax, mesothorax, and metathorax. And each segment consists of ardent plates or sclerites, which means this ardent plate is also known as sclerites. We now have the dorsal sclerites, the lateral sclerites, and the ventral sclerites. The dorsal sclerite is called the nota. Lateral sclerite is called the pleural, and the ventral sclerite is called the sterna or the sternum. And you can actually see it from here. This is their thorax. So this is the head, the thorax. So let me say HTA. So head, thorax, and abdomen. So this is the thorax, and you can see from here that the thorax is separated into three segments, which is the prothorax, the mesothorax, and the metathorax. And as I've mentioned, we can now separate them into three parts, which is the dorsal sclerites, the lateral sclerites, and the ventral sclerite, that is nota, pleural, and sterna respectively. Now, from on the thorax itself, the thorax bear a specialized organ called the wings that is mostly used for flight. It is mostly used for flight by insects, and it is mostly found in the pterygota, which is the flight or the winged insects. Now, insect has evolved many variations of wings. We have the membranous wing, which is thin and more transparent, and it is common among Odonata, like the dragonfly that you are seeing here, and Neuroptera. You understand? It is found amongst them. And as you can see, look at this particular type of wing. Can you see that it is membranous? It is light and it is transparent. You understand? It is light and it is transparent. Now, we have something we call artery, and it is an extreme modification amongst the dipteran flies, in which they have the forewings and the hind wings, but the hind wing is reduced to a mere knob, and it is used for balance and direction during flights. And as you can see it here, we have the artery here. Let me reduce the size of this so that you can have it. So we have the artery here. Can you see? It is the hind wing, and it is mostly common among the parents like mosquitoes and housefly. It is here, and it is used for balancing as well as what? As well as sense of direction during flights. That is artery. Now we have something we call the elytra. Elytra is mostly found in the Coleoptera, which is the beetles, and it is hardened, heavily sclerotized forewings of beetles. It is mostly found in beetles. If you know beetle, you know that their wing is hard, and this hard wing is called the elytra. It is called the elytra, and it is modified to protect the hind wing when they are at rest. That is the function of elytra. Now, there is now a variation between the elytra and the hemelytra. The forewings of the hemipterans are said to be hemelytrous, which is the hemipterans. They are hardened throughout the proximal to third, while the distal portion is membranous. That is the hemipterans. This thing. The forewings is said to be hemelytrous, which is hardened, and the two-third, like the distal, the end of it is said to be membranous. Unlike elytra, hemelytra function primarily as flight wing, because elytra, what the function of elytra is just to protect the hind wing. It does not function in flight. You understand? But hemelytra function primarily as a flight wing. But in both cases, the membranous hind wing, when present, are used in flight, and they are folded beneath the forewings when they are at rest. I think you should have seen something like that in beetles. Now, the wing of butterfly and moth are covered with scales, and mosquito possess scales along their wing veins as well. And you can see it in this particular image that we have here, that they have veins. Can you see? They have veins. Hmm? So this is, now look at this. Look at this place. This is a membranous wing, very light. But this one that is here, it's an elytra that is thick. You understand? So this is found in the hemipterans. It is found in the hemipterans. Now to their legs. The foreleg is located at the prothorax. You know, we are talking about the thorax, the component of the thorax. The foreleg are located on the thorax, the mid leg on the mesothorax, and the hind leg on the metathorax, which means all the six major appendages, all the six appendages that, or the three pair of appendages that an insect possess, they are found in the thoracic region. None of them is found in the head, and none of them is found in the abdomen. All of them are found in the thoracic region. And we have the foreleg, the mid leg, and the hind leg that is located at the prothorax, the mesothorax, and the metathorax, respectively. Now, each leg now has six major components, which is the coxa that join it directly to the thorax. We have the femur, which is the longest part of. We have the tibia, and we have the tarsus, we have the pretarsus, and we have the claws. You understand? These are the components of legs that we have. Now we now have different types of legs. We have the cursorial leg, that, as you can see here, I will show you which animal uses it. We have the raptorial legs, and we have the fossorial legs. You understand? Now the cursorial leg is used for walking and running. The raptorial leg is used for grasping. You understand? And the fossorial legs is used for, it is highly specialized for digging, like digging the floor. You understand? And this this particular leg, which is raptorial leg, is mostly found in praying mantids. They are mostly found in praying mantids. This one is found in ground dwelling insects. Those are the ones that go in deep into the ground. Now we now have something we call the saltatorial legs, which the hind leg adapted for jumping and characterized by elongated femur and tibia. And I think it is mostly found in grasshoppers. You understand? And we have the natatorial legs, where the fore or the hind leg are adapted for swimming, and it is characterized by elongated setae or tarsi that makes them to lift or to stay on water when they are on water. You understand? Those are the types of leg that we have in insects, and those are the components of the thorax that we have in insects. Now to the abdomen. Now the dorsal and the ventral abdomen segments are called the tega and the sterna, respectively. The dorsal is called the tega and the ventral is called the sterna, respectively. Now we now have spiracles that can be found in the conjunctive tissues between the tega, which is the ventral, which is the dorsal, and the sterna, which is the ventral, in the abdominal segments 1 to 8. Abdominal segment what? 1 to 8. We can find spiracles there. Now, reproductive structures are now located on the 9th segment in males and on the 8th and the 9th abdominal segment in females, which include the adagacious, that is here, or the penis, and often a pair of clasper in males. But in females, external genitalia corpuscular opening and the ovipositor. That is the things that we found. So what are the things that we have mentioned here now? We can find a spiracle on the 1st to the 8th segment. The 9th segment consists of the reproductive structure in male. The 8th and 9th segment consist of the reproductive structure in female, and that is what we have here. The ventral, called the sternum. So we have the sternum, the tegum rather, the tegum, which is the dorsal, and the sternum, which is the ventral. You understand? And in the 8th and the 9th segments, we found the what? We find the ovipositor, which is present in females. But the 9th segment, we find the what? The penis in males. So these are the modification of ovipositor in different insects. These are how they look like. Look at it. These are modification of ovipositor in insects, in different insects. Now let us move to the insect internal morphology. So look at this is the internal morphology. We have the pharynx, we have the subesophageal, we have the salivary gland, the ventral nerve cord, the ganglion, and also this is their digestive system, where we have three guts. We have the foreguts, the midgut, the hindgut. The foregut, the midgut, and the hindgut. And we now have some other components. In the foregut, we have the salivary gland. In the midgut, we have the gastric ceca and the malpighian tubule. In the hindgut, we have the colon, the rectum, and the anus. They have a complete digestive system. Insects have a complete digestive system. You understand? Now, let us talk about their digestive system. The digestive system of insect is long and a tube-like structure that runs from the mouth to the anus. Hence, we can say that they have a what? They have a complete digestive system, and they are centrally located within the body or the hemocele. You know what an hemocele is, which is the body cavity. In their body cavity, where we have the foregut, which is the stomodium. The anterior most region, which include the buccal cavity, the esophagus, and the crop, begins the breakdown of the food and transport them to the next region, which is the midgut. So the first thing that they do is they use their mouth, which is the buccal cavity, to get the food, to gather the food. They swallow it. Once they swallow it, they take it to the crop. What the crop does is that what? It crush it. Then it takes it to the what? To the midgut. And the midgut is also called the what? It's also called the mesenteron. It's also called the mesenteron. Now, the midgut is the major area in the digestion and absorption, a very, very important aspect or very, very important parts of the digestive system. So it is the major area of digestion and absorption. And the hindgut consists of the ileum, colon, rectum, and the rectal parts that is basically functioning in water and solute reabsorption and waste excretion. That is the function of the hindgut. So the foregut, the function of the foregut is gathering of food as well as breaking down of food. The second, which is the midgut, is for digestion and absorption. The third one is for reabsorption of water and solutes, and as well as waste excretion. Those are the function of each of these alimentary canal. Now, they now have something we call gastric ceca. Gastric ceca mark the end of the foregut and the beginning of the midgut. And the purpose of this structure is to increase the surface area of nutrient absorption. Is to increase what? The surface area of nutrient absorption. And they have a malpighian tubule, which is basically for what? For osmoregulation and excretion. I don't know, if you kill a cockroach, you will see a yellow structure coming out of it like this. That is their malpighian tubule, creamy to yellow in color, and work in conjunction with the ileum to provide a primary site for osmoregulation and excretion. How about their circulatory system? They have a open circulatory system, meaning that insects lack complex network of veins and arteries to help them transport blood throughout the body. Instead, insect blood, which is the hemolymph, the insect blood is called the hemolymph, and it flows relatively freely through the hemocele, through the body cavity. It flows freely through the body cavity. You understand? And this is we now have only the dorsal vessel is present in the insect circulatory system. Posteriorly, the dorsal vessel acts as the heart. The dorsal vessel, it acts as the heart, pumping the hemolymph, which is their blood, forward into the anterior region, where it acts as aorta and dumps the hemolymph into the head. Then it flows posteriorly as is returned to the heart via the ostia. So this is the circulatory system of insects. Now, we are going to talk about the nervous system shortly because we don't have much time. Now, the nervous system of insects. To view the ventral nerve cord, examine the ventral region of a roach body, which is a cockroach body cavity, for something that resembles a railroad track running from the head posteriorly to the abdominal region. And this railroad track is made up of two nerve cords that run longitudinally with a series of node-like ganglia. The anterior-most region of the ventral cord is called the subesophageal ganglion. Dorsal to the structure is the insect brain or the esophageal ganglion, and this is what we are trying to mention here. This is what we have here. So this is the nervous system. So we'll be stopping here today. In the next video, which is the one I'll be dropping next after this, we'll continue on our nervous system coordination of insects. Thank you, and follow for more.